If your life was a story, would others read it? Who is writing your story? That's the topic for today's show. Welcome to the Results Kill Excuses channel. I'm your host, Greg. I've been talking about life, my life, your life, and life in general, especially when we got 2,000 men dying each and every day globally. That's something worth responding to with a sense of urgency. And I can tell you that one of the most powerful practices that I have incorporated into my daily morning ritual, sometimes at night, has been journaling. And it's what truly inspired something that I'm cooking up right here, right now, the Transformational F Journal. It's a 12-week self-mastery program because I know the power of the pen. So many of us as adults, right? Life gets going and the velocity and just the speed of life, it always feels like we're behind the power curve. It's really hard to kind of quantum leap to the front of the power so that we are in flow instead of just trying to keep up, man, trying to keep up with the current. And yet, one of the practices throughout this healing journey, right, that started when I hit rock bottom in 2012. And I had to tell myself, I can't do this no more. And I know many of you are in denial. You think you're good. Well, here's the measure of knowing whether or not your life is going in the right direction. Do you want it? Did you want to know how to measure? You either have a list of wins that you can list off right now that have happened in the month of June, like significant life wins. I got my list. Hey, and then you can even just get broader and say in 2024, here's some significant life wins, some victories, some accomplishments. That's how you know that you're actually growing and heading in a positive direction. But if your life is filled more with, well, I don't really have a lot of wins, but I know I'm doing good. But you don't really have anything to go for it, to put down, then guess what? In this life, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. Period. There's no in between. There's no, well, I'm just like right in between. I'm not doing better so much and I'm not really doing worse. That's a lie. It's a total lie. If you're just getting by, that is doing worse. I guarantee you, if you're just getting by, you're getting poorer every day. Your health is deteriorating every day because in order for you to sustain healthiness, happiness, wealthiness, you have to live life with intention and action. And all these things have to be aligned. And most people, try and figure it all out up here in your head, in your mind. And you're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. There's also no evidence for you to be able to fall back on, to say, fuck, look where I was a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago. You kind of look back with fuzziness, but if you ain't got no evidence, then how do you truly know how you have been changing if it's not just for the worse? And yet it's sort of like that old saying is, right? If you ain't got evidence, if you ain't got a picture, did it really happen? And a lot of us will be antisocial and be, I don't need to take pictures of stuff. I don't do selfies and all this other shit. But it's like, if you were truly proud of yourself and not worried about what other people think, guess what? You would capture those moments. I would much rather see you taking pictures of you doing life than seeing you post up about your team and about some professional athletes that are making ridiculous amounts of money doing what they love, right? And you're there cheering them on, broke, depressed, sad, lonely, with all kinds of addiction issues, you are actually the absolute opposite of what many of these athletes are. These athletes are literally living their dream life to the fullest. They have freedom, they have wealth, they have their health, and yet you're sitting there acting as if somehow you are an extension of them, or because you're watching and cheering, you're emotionally invested, and it's not doing you any favors. It's a total distraction and a waste of your time, because your time needs to be valued. Does that make sense? So kicks to the head, seeing dudes get knocked out, awesome. I watched it for 2 minutes on a replay. I didn't need to invest my whole entire evening into watching this shit. I watched it, cool, it happened, great, awesome, move on. I got other shit to do. And if you actually were honest with yourself, you'd realize you got a lot of other shit to do. Ways to improve yourself, ways to start putting in some work. And that's what it really boils down to. Right? If you're here watching this right here, right now, are you someone that wants to improve your life and you're already doing things? You're already making the moves, putting in the work. Or are you someone that's just even being entertained by this for the few minutes that you'll watch it, because it takes too much concentration to actually hear the message till the end? Right? There's too many other distractions. I need quick stimulation because I only have like 2 minutes of fucking attention. My attention span is 0. I guarantee you, your the way your unit puts in the work is probably pretty low as well. And what I'm talking about is your sex drive, your libido, how long you last is probably equal to how much attention you have, unless it's your damn fucking team, man. You could sit there for hours on end watching and cheering for this shit. It's the craziest thing. It's the craziest thing, man. So I can tell you that throughout this journey, I didn't just start journaling, and I wasn't someone that really loved to write, but I am someone that throughout the course of my experience, I have fallen in love with the writing process so much that I have put together a 12-week fun version of journaling for you, your friends, and everyone else that's ready to actually start getting some more control over who they are, learning more about who you are, self-discovery, becoming self-mastery. Turn your interest in self into self-mastery. And that really is the greatest gift I've given myself. Yesterday, I had this energy come over me, and I'm totally different today because I didn't use the escape routes. I didn't look for the exit. I just sat in those weird emotions. And here's the trick. Sometimes emotion ain't even mine. Right? You could be zapping me with emotions right now. And if I'm not in a sensitive spiritual space, I could actually pick up on that. Tune into your fear, your nervousness. We're energetic, spiritual energetic beings. This is real shit. So something I wanted to talk about is who's writing your story. And there's only one answer. You're writing your story. But are you writing your story in a way that is empowering to you, or are you writing your story in a way that's like total bullshit? Meaning you're writing your story about my team won, and it's like, no, they didn't. Who's your team? Wait, who's your team again? Oh, the so and so's. Really? That's your team? Shit, man. Do you have a private jet too? You drive a Lambo every day? You own the so and so's? My team? It's delusion. It's a total it's a mental delusion. It's a mental disorder, really, to start believing that something that's not yours is yours. Right? And one of the most empowering things in this world is it's all the haves and have-nots, right? Compare and contrast, right? And we have this poverty mindset. For you to win, I have to lose. That's none of that is true. We can all win. You can win. And the truth is that I don't want what's yours, but you can't have what's mine. That's what's so beautiful about it. Because by my divine birthright, there is something set aside for me. Gifts, talents, riches, potential, purpose. And guess what? It's a reflection. By divine birthright, there is something set aside for you. I had this revelation yesterday that it didn't even dawn on me. We all have gifts. And if you want to do some research, look up divine gifts, God's gifts. And on there is the gift of hospitality. Well, a few years ago, I got involved in Airbnbs and helping do some management of Airbnbs. And eventually that led me to overseeing a complete renovation of like an old vintage motel into like more of a boutique motel. And I did an incredible job doing this. It was a really challenging job. And now I have my own Airbnb that has 5-star ratings and is ranked in the top 5% of all listings. And it dawned on me yesterday. I was like, holy shit, I know I'm good at this stuff. And now it makes sense. I have the gift of hospitality. That's an actual gift. And I feel the same way when I want to invite people over. Like I go out of my way to really just like be thoughtful and like mindful. And when I have guests, and then I can also tell you that when I'm being hosted and it's not good, like I'm like, fuck, man. I get all kind of bent out of shape when other people don't have that same gift. And now I see that and I can learn and grow from that revelation. And I can now journal about it, write about it. And so many of us don't want to acknowledge that we have gifts, and it's hard to. How can you acknowledge you have gifts when you're always jumping in through those escape doors? You're always looking for the secret passage to the end. You're not willing to do the work, to complete the level, to complete the test of life. Instead, you're like, nah, I'm gonna just let's crack a bottle, light a blunt, get high, pop some pills, watch some porn, watch my team fucking watch movies. Like it's constant distraction, everything to just get you off of actually sitting there and checking in with yourself, doing a body scan, figuring out, man, why am I feeling this way today? And what can I do different? Creating these internal conversations. And this shit is not easy, but what has happened for me over the past it's probably about the past 4 years that I started journaling with intention, that I now have receipts and it's beautiful, right? It's really incredible that, again, you are the author of your story. And if you don't have a story worth watching, reading, then it's not because you don't have something worth watching or reading. It's because you're not actually writing your story with intention. You're not literally sitting there and saying, here's the plot twist, here's the characters, here's the things I want to experience and accomplish. And you can put yourself into like a James Bond type movie, or you could put yourself into a diva movie, or you could put yourself into a successful rags to riches story. You can turn everything around. Like there's all these different narratives that you can actually subscribe to. And what it took me was I had to start going inside and saying, man, what do I desire? What do I truly desire? What is like the thing that's kind of been there my whole life, but I've never felt worthy enough for it. I've never felt good enough for it. I felt like it's asking for too much. Right. And it's just like, if you can connect with that, those feelings of unworthiness, that there's something inside of you that's been there your whole life, and yet you're sitting there and every time it comes up, you kind of have to dim it down. You have to say, nah, that's too much. That's too much. I don't need that. Right? You always talk yourself, I don't really need that. instead of just being genuinely authentic with yourself and saying, what do you need? And as you kind of go down that, if your need right now is health, right? Right. If you're someone that's like most overweight or obese, right? Lack strength, lack endurance, lack any kind of performance metrics other than, maybe passing out doing a 100-yard dash. If you're someone that's in that camp, which many people are, and the thing that would really be something you would desire would to be healthier, more in shape, feeling sexier about yourself, because you really do, man. Like, it's great to wake up and to feel that our bodies, which are dying every single day, the spirit inside of us, yeah, eternal. I had someone talk about this the other day. And okay, great, but that's not an knowing that your spirit is eternal, and like, it's kind of, I think it does have form in it, but it's like, it's not this body, but yet why that doesn't give you a reason to just let your shit go and be unhealthy, be overweight, because all of that is a reflection of the energy that you are cultivating with inside of you. I'm going to say that again. That's a reflection of the energy that you're cultivating inside of you, right? Like, if you are literally overweight, obese, uninspired, like, it's because you are literally lazy and undisciplined and don't have self control. And if you were to try and tell me about health problems, this and that, absolutely, those go hand in hand. The more lazier you are, the more complacent you are, the less discipline you have. What you're putting in your body, garbage in, garbage out. So yes, it's the food, the drink, all of these things are meant to pollute you, which thus is going to manifest health issues. You're abusing yourself. And again, if you want to write a story of being healthier, well, then by putting your ideas down on paper is a very powerful thing, right? If you want to be wealthier, have more financial stability, putting these things down on paper is how you organize it, is how you truly set intentions, right? And it's the beautiful thing about scripting is it actually is an action. It's an action. It's not you just sitting there and thinking about it. And that's what a lot of people are going to try and do. Oh, I'm just trying to figure out my life in my head. That's not going to happen. 5 seconds later, with your attention span, you're already worried about something else, thinking about something else. How are you going to do it? You need to fucking document this shit. Get the receipts. Declare what it is you want. I always start there. You got to say, what do you want? And it starts with, what do you love? What do you hate? What do you want? And why? And there's no judgment. If you feel any kind of judgments when you just ask those questions, that's a limiting belief. Someone else has put a restriction on you, a governor, like in a vehicle, right? That stops you from going faster, stops you from being more. And that is implanted inside you. Thus, it's holding you back. And it's the craziest thing that we allow for these things to happen. And it's not even with our knowing. This is all at the subconscious level. But if you want to start actually seeing some breakthroughs in your life, get yourself a notebook or get yourself an F journal, which is coming in really fast. I'm working on it. We're talking September release, but I have something even coming out much more sooner. So stay tuned. The Results Kill Excuses Personal Development Academy app. It's a custom app. It's going to have some free content on there. It's a small plug for something to be looking forward to. And I'm going to be actually doing some beta testing here very soon in like the next few weeks. So I'd really, if you're interested in that and you're watching this content and this is resonating with you and you want to start doing some more self-discovery through a journaling, writing down process in a fun way, right? This ain't just writing a whole page. Look how fun that looks, man. There's all kinds of games and shit on there. But it's also really reflective. It really gives you an opportunity to document versus just scripting. Most of us don't want to just free write. And so I'm really, really, really excited about the Results Kill Excuses app and the academy, the personal development academy component in there. It's going to be a real special thing. I'm not going to get too into it now, but it is coming very soon. We submitted to Apple and Google yesterday. With that being said, I want to do something I haven't done in a while, and I want to read a journal entry from a little over a year ago that I wrote to myself because I had a tough day yesterday and I didn't use escape routes. I sat in there. I sat in the emotions. I checked in with the emotions. I breathed through the emotions. And I woke up this morning. I feel like they've dissipated. I feel better. I feel more focused. I feel more calm about the situation and knowing that, man, I'm going to take care of this. No matter what the issue is, I'm going to take care of it and it's going to be fine. Right. And I'm so grateful that I didn't use any distractions to pop out of there. Doesn't mean it was easy. No. But this morning when I woke up, I must have been moving around the journal, but there was an entry that was kind of there. And I like to reread my entries. This is the receipts. This is how you know that you're actually doing stuff and becoming things. And so today, I'm going to read this pretty much line for line, word for word. So I appreciate you joining me in the intimacy of my morning for me to share with you my morning thoughts a little over a year ago. And I'm so grateful that I have this receipt and this message that I can continue to even feed myself with. So without further ado, I'm going to read this. This is my personal journal entry. Good morning, high value man. You are a divine woman magnet. I'm so grateful for life this day. My mind desires to feel happy, abundant, loved, wealthy, and free. To just sit back and feel happy. That is my goal. No circumstances, no conditions, just the pure feeling of joy and happiness flowing through me. I'm ready to accomplish a lot today. I'm ready to hit the road. I'm ready to meet or to experience new things and meeting new people along the way. Life is wonderful, and I am free of past limitations. I am free of all attachments. I am whole and complete. In this moment and every moment forward, thank you. New possibilities are here and now. I desire greater success, greater wealth, greater freedom. Thank you for all the love, God. I appreciate you. I'm asking for you to get me through the challenging days and nights. I truly desire for you to choose my divine partner. I mean it when I say I believe you have it all worked out. I guess it's just a matter of timing and alignment. I catch myself wanting to speed up time in order to get to a goal or destination. I choose to go with the flow and allow the divine state of life to unfold. I am worthy of the success I long for. What do I need to do to receive the money and funding needed to build the empire? What holds me back from seeing the rush of cash filling into my account so I feel wealthy, feel healthy, feel loved? I'm so proud of who I am becoming. Keep making plays. So that was over a little over a year ago. I don't give a shit whether how you judge it, how you interpret it. That's a love letter to myself, but it's also, as you can almost sense, it's like almost a form of written prayer to God. It's a time when I am literally becoming intimate with God, and I didn't edit any of it. That's how I have a conversation with myself. And I can now go forward and see the receipts, and I can look at my life now and realize those areas where I have expanded with my health, with my wealth. You know, a year ago I was just getting my Airbnb started, and now it's incredible, almost like I think there's almost 65-star ratings, and it's the cash flows in, and it's like almost effortless. And yet this process of journaling has really helped to set myself up for a lot of successes. The 12-week F journal is documented in here, talking about, you know, people asking me, "Hey man, what are you doing?" All this stuff. And me, I right away I had a vision, and then I sketched it out. And so I still have the sketch. That was the origin of this. And it's like you have something in your mind. There's something that you have inside your mind, inside your thoughts, beyond your team winning or losing, beyond someone loving you or not loving you. And yet, what is it going to take for you to really start to cultivate that into reality? It's also called manifesting, but just cultivating it, meaning there's actions, right? I couldn't just be still writing, God, where's my wealth? Where's my wealth? I needed alignment and timing, but it was also a consistent, persistent, committed, imperfect actions every single day, right? I wouldn't have had the success I had with this property if I had never cleaned it or let things fall in disarray or not really gone above and beyond to communicate and respond and support the guests that I've had there. Right. So it's like you write this stuff down, but then what do you do next? You start to take action. You start to identify with the story you're writing. That's the key to it. There's all this talk about things being scripted. Well, everything is scripted, but your story right now, your life right now is scripted. You scripted it. So sure, the sports script. Everything is a story. Someone's writing it. And yet, what are you going to write for yourself from this day forward? Are you willing to take up that challenge to know that you can start rewriting shit? I always say we're the author and the editor of our stories. So whatever story you have up to this point, that's your story, but you can go back and edit. You can edit out the feeling of unworthiness, the feeling of being unappreciated, taken for granted, feeling unloved, feeling fat and nasty, right? There's plenty of examples in this world where people have turned their whole entire life around. David Goggins would probably be one of the most inspiring that I identify with. But we all know there's biggest losers. If your health is an issue, we all know that there is absolute rags to riches success stories of incredible people doing incredible things. I can even think in the sports world, a guy like Kurt Warner was like doing fucking bagging groceries. And then the next minute he's winning a Super Bowl. And that's not about them. It's about you. You can write your story, but yet you have to not just write the story, you have to live the story, be the story, reprogram your limiting beliefs, these thoughts that are holding you back, the worry about what someone else is going to think or say. That's why I can just read this. I don't care if you want to pick it apart. It's there. That's what I wrote. And whether it makes sense to you, that's up to you. It's not even my business. What do you think about it? But if you do have some thoughts, comment down below. If there's something more that you would like to hear about, other topics, comment those down below. I appreciate you tuning in to this episode. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. You are the reason why I am here. Share the message. It is greatly appreciated to like this message, and know this, I will be back because my story says so. This is my purpose. This is the calling. This is me truly fulfilling my calling on this planet, is to help people and reduce suffering by reducing their mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical suffering. And it starts with writing that shit down. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, where your growth equals your greatness. Greg